We are going to be crossing directly now again to Sarah Morris, our correspondent in Spain. Sarah, you've still got your sunglasses on. The big moment itself has passed. What was it like? Tell us everything.
Fabulous, yes. That moment, very eerie feeling of the darkness, and there was a lot of applause from the people downstairs who are going to be watching this concert later. One thing I noticed, people were looking out, taking some photos of the horizon, and I noticed that there was a little bit of a breeze. I could see people's clothes actually blowing, and that I had heard that before, that the temperature would drop by a few degrees. I certainly felt that. It's been a very, very hot day, high 30s here in Segovia. And so, yes, that eerie feeling. It's interesting listening to Monty there talking about animals, because one newspaper, El País, looked back to the last total eclipse across the Spanish mainland in 1912, and there was a report from then which said that the hens looked for their roosting, and they protected their chicks. So that was a report from then, but certainly the people here were absolutely awestruck by that special moment.
And did you get the sense, Sarah, that people were actually watching it, or were they trying to record it? Like, it was so brief, really. I mean, it was done and dusted within a couple of minutes. What was your sense, or how did you feel that people were actually responding to it as it was actually happening?
There was a real combination, because there's a combination of local people from Segovia who know this place well, and foreign tourists who've come and bought a ticket to see the cathedral, not knowing they'd be allowed to stay in the tower to look out over Segovia. So there were some people that wanted to take a photograph of a familiar landscape that they knew and to record it and capture that moment. You do have to be very careful, we've been told, of particularly when the partial eclipse was happening, to not concentrate with a lens without a filter. So people were very careful, I think, during the partial eclipse to not be recording. But we had a lot of build-up. People were looking at the time, they were seeing the darkness getting a little bit darker, and there were people saying, it's nearly here, it's nearly here, it's nearly here. And then, as you say, it was less than a minute, that magic minute, and now we're waiting for the rest of that partial eclipse.
Yeah, and Sarah, as we were saying earlier, people in Spain have waited 100 years for this moment, but they must be feeling very lucky that many of them are going to get to experience this phenomenon in the south of the country in a year and a half's time.
Indeed, there was one headline which said, "This is the World Cup of astronomy. We've won it. We've hit the lottery here," because it really is quite incredible to have waited so long and then to have this trio of eclipses. You can understand why the government set up a special committee to manage this, because there is a challenge as well. The government hasn't been able to calculate exactly how many people will be moving around the countryside, but the police and civil protection said that today alone there would be 1.5 million people getting in their cars and driving somewhere to see the eclipse, picking out their spot and going somewhere. And of course, this during a peak moment of forest fires, a lot of heat. So there's been a lot of preventative measures taken. There's been a lot of planning in terms of apps. There's a very cool app that the Segovia city has developed, where you can go around the city and you can zoom in on buildings and see where you would see the eclipse, to encourage people to stay on their own balconies, to not drive into mountains and countryside that they don't know very well. Lots and lots of imaginative planning. But I have to say, I think the local authorities, they do not exactly know how many people have been attracted to going to look at spots. And when I got the train out from Madrid, which is about an hour away from Segovia, I saw an absolutely rammed station with everybody going off to those places which were on the long band of the eclipse territory for the total eclipse. People were heading off to Valencia, they were heading off to Valladolid, to Leon. They really were up, packed, and I suspect they're making more of a holiday of it than just one day. And so that money, that injection into the countryside will be very much desired from those towns.
Sarah, thanks so much for all of that. That is Sarah Morris, our correspondent in Spain.